Happy holidays, everybody, and welcome to Random Encounter, the RPGFan podcast. My name is Robert Steinman. I'm your host, Pale Robbie on the boards, and we're one man down today. We're just going to assume that it was supposed to be Stephen Meyerink's grand return to the podcast from the Far East, but we're going to just assume that he's dead due to this blizzard, because that's about the only reason that he should be gone right now. So it's just three of us today. Joining me, we have, as usual, the man with many titles.
John McCarroll. I'm Keeper X on our forums, and you know what? I'm going to go with Junior Pictures Editor.
And John's going to be doing his best to pay attention during this podcast, because what are you doing right now, John?
I don't have to pay attention. That's the thing. I'm grinding for money in Gran Turismo in V-Spec mode, so I'm setting cars to go race while I podcast.
This is worse than training your fighters in Virtua Fighter 4. This is worse. I'm just saying. All right, so... And as always, we have the newsman.
Hey, Zach Pintchik, super flat on the boards.
Okay, and you're not doing anything other than podcasting, right? So
taking notes. I'm being diligent.
There we go. All right, because you have a massive news section to talk about, don't you?
So much news.
Yeah, we have a lot of VGA announcements to talk about. Wonderful CG trailers that don't tell us anything about the games. That's awesome.
But hey, we'll get to it.
My favorite was the trailer for Del Toro's game, which had a 2012 or 2013 release date.
2013. Yeah. I thought it was bad when BioShock Infinite or Infinity, whatever, was announced, and it was 2012. I thought that was bad, but then it's like Insane coming, and it has the same kind of title as Infamous. Mm-hmm. Well done, Del Toro. Well done. So we got a show today. We're going to talk about games, as usual. We have a massive news section to talk about, and then something that I like to do that's kind of a podcast tradition on other shows is we're going to make some predictions for 2011. So make sure you guys take notes during this podcast, dear listeners, and then in a year you can tell us how smart I am and how dumb everybody else is. So, just making note, my prediction was going to be that Deus Ex 3 was delayed, and I would have been right if we had recorded this podcast on time, but we didn't. So, anywho, not that I'm bitter. John, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've been playing besides Gran Turismo? It's an RPG, right?
No, honestly, I read an editorial today on The Escapist that was talking about Gran Turismo being one of the best RPGs of the year. And I understand where he was coming from in regards to it being, we're seeing character progression in more and more games. But you know what? There are way better examples of non-RPGs to use for that. You look at a lot of the sports games, NHL 11, FIFA 11, whatever. Those are games that you can truly say, these are RPGs. Gran Turismo 5, not so much. Yeah. But that aside, whatever. My guy is running, and he'll be running for another 20 minutes, so that's good. I can talk about Dead Money.
Which Dead is Money Yep, go ahead.
Is the new first download content for Fallout New Vegas. And it's set up, for those of you who played the Fallout 3 download content, it's set up similarly to the Pit, where you kind of get this notice that says, oh, hey, it's actually the same way. You hear someone on the radio, and you have to go, and you say, oh, here you go. And it sets you off into another zone, and you can't go back until you finish up all the content for Dead Money. And you know what? Having played through most of the Pit, I never actually finished the Pit, I have to say I like the Pit setup better, simply because the beginning of Dead Money, you're set and you're trying to find three other people. You find there's this guy that's a hologram, and he says, I have you, and you have a collar that will explode if you don't do exactly what I say, which reminded me a lot of 999.
I was going to. This also sounds like you have to kill your other schoolmates in Battle Royale, so I'm liking it already.
So you have to go find. There's a woman who can't speak, a ghoul who seems to be just as ruthless as the guy who's your captor, and a super mutant who is schizophrenic.
Cool.
And so one side of him is named God, and one side of him is named Dog. And to be completely fair, I have not gotten particularly far in Dead Money. I am maybe a fourth of the way through it, mainly because it's been incredibly frustrating. A lot of the initial area that's set up is filled with poison gas, and you have to stay away from these speaker systems that may set off your explosive collar. I blew up 6 or 7 times. At that point, I just said, you know what, I'm going to run through these zones and when beeping gets too far, I'm going to run the other direction because it's too frustrating to make sure that everything is done correctly. Maybe there's something that I'm missing, but it's been very, very frustrating, and I really don't like this download content.
Well, your frustration kind of sounds similar to something that happened to me in New Vegas, where when you approach the boomers at the one military Air Force base, like to get in there, you had to do this elaborate, dodging missiles and houses and crap. And I had to look on YouTube because I tried it over and over again and I couldn't beat it. And I had to watch a YouTube video, and I'm sitting there going, I never would have figured out how to get through there.
Do you know how I did that? See, and here's the thing. I brute forced that. Do you know how I did it? I ran, and as soon as I got hit by the missile, I hit the menu button and stim-packed myself to full health. Kept running, got hit by a missile again, stim-packed to full health. Eventually, I made it there.
Yeah, and see, that's a perfect example. And then we'll get back to Dead Money real quick. But that's what I was so frustrated about with New Vegas, was that it was pushing the Gamebryo engine to its absolute limit, and it was trying to do these things that were really interesting and different, but the game engine just wouldn't allow it. Like, that was such a cool, that would have been a cool scene. I was sitting there going, oh, this could be kind of awesome, if this is pulled off correctly. And then it breaks. It snaps under the game's engine. And that was just a continual uphill battle when I was playing New Vegas.
Yeah, no, I hear you there. And here's the thing. I am all for these kind of sequences where it's supposed to be very tense and sneaky, and those sequences are great in games like Splinter Cell, in games like Ghost Recon, in games like Call of Duty, where scripted events are a big part of the game. And for me, when I'm playing an RPG, even an open world RPG like Fallout New Vegas is, I really don't want to sneak around, and I really don't want to have to use trial and error to get past an action sequence.
Yep. Now, is you said the setup's kind of like the pit, so you're thrown into this area and you're kind of stuck there. You can't really get out. What kind of quests do you have? I saw that in some of the trailers there were mutant things that you could only shoot in the head to kill, which was kind of brought me back a little bit to Undead Nightmare for Red Dead Redemption, which I thought was a cool thing. But what are you doing in these missions?
So you're brought there and you wake up with this explosive collar around your neck, and you're trying to get into the Sierra Madre casino to loot it. And the guy who's controlling you is Father, I forget his name actually. But he's supposedly a priest, and he is telling you need to get in and you need to get the treasure of Sierra Madre and you need to give it to me or I'm going to kill you. And so initially there are these ghost mutant things. I'm not sure exactly what they are. And he gives you a gun that will gradually sap their health over time. But here's the thing. They always say – I forget the name of the NPC as well. But when you kill them, and I'm doing air quotes even though you can't see it because it's a podcast, they go unconscious. And if you don't do additional damage to them, they will come back. And so it's kind of a get through all these areas as fast as you can so you're not inundated with these enemies.
This is not making me upset that I stopped playing New Vegas.
This is the sort of thing that it sounds like they're trying to do too much on the action RPG side of the
Fallout
RPG. Just because add on top of that the Gamebryo engine is a pile of poop. And I feel like especially what you described with the the missile segment with the boomers and whatever. I bought it on Steam. I bought some New Vegas. It's sitting in my games list. Add on top of that it seems like props to Obsidian for trying to push the limits of what they're doing in their games, but at the same time maybe they should steer a little closer to the meld.
Yeah. I don't think Fallout works particularly well when it's trying to be an action RPG. Fallout works best when it's you see an enemy, you target them in VATS, and then you bring them down in VATS. That's what works.
Yeah, no, I hear that. And here's the thing. And hopefully Skyrim, which we'll talk about in the news section, with it using a new engine, will actually have things that are conductive to shooting. Because I guarantee you that Fallout 4, or whatever it's called, is going to be based on that same engine. Mm-hmm. Because if they at least make it a competent shooting or action combat engine, it will work. But yeah, I hear you. I like the action-oriented combat, and I like the exploring from a first-person perspective. But I don't like what they've been having me do thus far in Dead Money. Now, it might get better the further in I get once I actually get into the Sierra Madre, but it's not impressing me thus far.
Okay. Well, I mean, it definitely sounds like Obsidian is at least trying something new, which is kind of cool, but it's sort of like what would happen with the Fallout expansions, where some of it was really, really good. You had the Broken Steel expansion, which was fantastic. You had Point Lookout, which I thought was almost better than the actual Fallout game because it was like such a condensed wasteland. I mean, that was so awesome that I want that, like I want a small, tiny area that I can explore, kind of like Shivering Isles or like Point Lookout, and it doesn't really sound like this is it.
Yeah, no, I hear you there. And if you're a huge fan of Fallout, it's worth buying. Like I said, I will mention again, I have not beaten this expansion pack yet. Ashton Liu will actually have a review of this, hopefully this week. And it's one of those things where we got a review code for it, and I gave it to Ashton, and I paid for this expansion pack, and I'm really kind of disappointed with it.
Well, I mean, we all know it's going to come out to PS3 and PC eventually.
Yeah,
I mean,
do we have a date on that, or just sometime in the future?
All we know is that it's an exclusive for 360 right now, but I'm sure it's a timed exclusive. I mean, you can bet dollars to donuts. I mean, if Final Fantasy 13 came out on 360 this week in Japan, and it did horribly, by the way.
Well, I don't want to interrupt you, but continue. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Go for it.
Like, I think that the whole Final Fantasy 13 does horribly on Xbox 360 in Japan. It would be like if...
Yeah, I know.
Say we took... it would be like if Dragon Age came out on Wii next month.
Yeah, I know. It's not really saying much. It's just any excuse I can to take a dump in. I got to take it. I got to take the low-hanging fruit. So, no, all this talk about Game of the Year on this site for the past 2 weeks, for the listeners, like we've been working on Game of the Year, and every time somebody brings up Final Fantasy 13, I just feel a brain cell die.
Yeah. No, and for those of you who we get emails occasionally. They're like, why did you give Game X this award and Game Y this award? Like, this is easily the most stressful feature that we make every year because our staff members get into arguments. People will refuse to read these threads, and it's just pretty much chaos. And we start working on this. We started working on mid-November?
Yeah, I've put down my picks in the categories that I want to choose, the categories that I feel like I can choose, and I'm just staying out of it. Like, my vote's down. I'm done. Like, everybody is just screaming and yelling at each other, and I'm like, I don't care enough. As long as Final Fantasy 13 doesn't win any awards, I'm happy. So, that's it.
I can agree with that.
All right, so consensus seems to be we don't care about Dead Money. So
well, it's not that we don't care about it. Like, I bought it as soon as I saw that it was on Xbox.
We want to care about it. We want to care about it.
And I at this point, I will say it's a valiant effort concept-wise, but a poor effort execution-wise.
So classic Obsidian.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, New Vegas kind of still screams it. New Vegas also still not running great on PC after the huge patch that came out like last week. Still not running that great on PC. Like, I can play Fallout 3 at high settings with barely a stutter, and New Vegas, it's like stop motion animation. Weird.
Could be worse. I've been playing old PC stuff because I got a new 1 terabyte hard drive, and I installed Gothic 3. And despite the fact that my machine is insane at this point, Gothic 3 barely runs because it's Windows 7.
We're going to get to that in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Oh God, ladies and gentlemen, we have somebody coming in. Oh boy.
Yeah, maybe you should add him to the conversation.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing,
streaming.
jackass. That's what I'm doing, man. Yo, man, that's why I'm doing it. Yeah. Oh God, that's a horrible picture of him.
Yeah, why would you use that as
Why
your
would
avatar?
you use that picture? That is horrible. Ugh.
Hi, Steven.
Hello.
Oh God. What's wrong with your face?
What face?
Yeah, pretty much.
Don't make fun of my face. That's showing off my manly beard.
All right.
It doesn't. What beard? It shows your nose and
your
up.
jaw is missing.
It's like half a mustache.
It's not half a mustache. It's like a quarter stash.
I have a glorious
Is that like
luxurious
the equivalent
beard
of the half tuck in Uncharted?
God, not the half tuck.
In?
Please don't bring up Uncharted. I hate that game so much. Please don't bring it up. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Meyerink has just joined us from the Far East. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing quite well.
All right.
How are you?
I am good. So here's the deal, gang. We're kind of in the middle of the show. John just talked about his game, which was Dead Money, so we're sure that you don't have anything to add to that other than New Vegas sucks. So, correct? So then we're going to move on to Zach. So, Steven, start thinking about the games you want to talk about. Zach, you're not editing any of this out because this has been kind of funny.
Okay.
And you're going to edit out the swearing.
I don't think we swore, did we?
Jackass.
Oh, Jackass is not that bad. Jackass is a donkey.
I swear, I will not swear.
They can say that in a Shrek movie.
Yeah, well, you know what?
This
is RPGFan, where Shrek is like way too risque for us.
God, if we ever do a live show, I mean, we're just gonna have to have like the beeps on standby. It's gonna be like listening to Chris Rock on Comedy Central at 9:00. Like, it's gonna be terrible. All right, so Zach, tell us about Infinity Blade, and Steven, start thinking about games that you want to talk about.
I'm gonna tell you all about Infinity Blade. It's
I hear it's Punch Out. It's a really pretty Punch Out.
I was gonna say that. It's so basically Infinity Blade is a new game from Chair, which is the folks over at Epic Games who made what was it, Shadow Complex on the Xbox 360, and before that they made Undertow and maybe a couple of other games. But it's the first legitimate Unreal Engine game on the iPhone. There was Epic Citadel. But that was more of a tech demo than anything. And, so like Rob said, it is Punch Out. Pretty much. It's Punch Out, and it looks very pretty. And basically the gist of the game is that you start off and you're some lowly adventurer trying to defeat the God King, who is just this guy. He's a God King. I don't know much about him yet.
He's a mean fellow.
Yeah, he seems like he's a meanie. And so you go and you defeat his like guard or whatever, and then he just stabs you. Straight up. You have no chance against him. He just stabs you and takes your soul. And then 20 years later, your son comes around with your equipment and all that business, and he goes and fights his way through this castle, and he goes to fight the God King, and he gets stabbed. And then his son goes and fights the God King, and basically every time you go through this castle, you gain like different items, more experience, more gold that you can buy new items with. And whenever you die in the game, it starts over on a new bloodline, which is, and you start with all your equipment and your stat upgrades and all of that business. So eventually you become powerful enough to defeat the God King, and then something happens.
Isn't this how the Kryptonians like made Doomsday in the old DC comics?
That is exactly how they made Doomsday.
I totally nailed that.
Yeah.
What's interesting about that, though, is that it's really cool because you can fight the God King. I mean, as long as you get to him, theoretically you could beat him with your first bloodline. It would just be, you'd have to be like 100% perfect at fighting him.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so basically it is, you go through this castle over and over again. You get, more stats, and you level up and gain experience. And like the way that they manage experience and leveling up is kind of interesting in that you have all of your equipment has a certain amount of experience that it can gain. And so when you get, let's say, like 250 XP for this, for a ring, which may give you like +2 to your magic and allow you to cast like the fire spell, you can't gain, like once you have mastered it, as the game puts it, you can't gain any more experience. And so, you're best off just kind of like selling the ring and buying a new ring to get more experience. And then you kind of have to manage, do you want a weapon, like with better stats and, that you may have mastered already, or do you want to go back and keep gaining experience for all of these items? And so, I mean, the way that that's kind of balanced, you get to, like, it really can get into your collector lust if you let it. Granted, it's not quite like Diablo, where you go and you find these items out in the world. Most of the items you have to buy just because the chests are not super exciting. But so, and then as John said, it plays like Punch-Out. So you have your guy, you can dodge left and right, you can parry like left, right, and up, and basically you have to dodge or parry one of your enemy enough until he has like a dodge break or a parry break. And you then slash at him on the iPad or on the iPhone. And it works. It's just not super exciting. That's the problem.
That's the thing. Here, I got bored with this game before I even got through one iteration of it, and that sounds awful. Like, I understand that we gave it a good review. I could not fathom playing this game for more than one iteration. Maybe it's because I just bought an iPod over this holiday season, and I've been playing. I bought like $60 worth of iOS games, and I found like 3 or 4 that have been worthwhile. And it's really kind of frustrating. Maybe I just don't understand gaming on this platform, but no, it's really, really awkward to not have any physical buttons.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't get any of this faux D-pad stuff through my head.
I mean, the key to enjoying iPhone or iPod games is buying Fruit Ninja and Cut the Rope, and
here's the thing,
nothing that is a legitimate game. It's these like Fruit Ninja is what I've been playing for like the past 2 weeks or whatever, and basically I'm just smudging up my iPhone screen, and that's kind of like what the game is, and it's something. I feel like, as much as Apple wants to make this a legitimate, gaming platform, it's just not until, without having proper controls, it is very difficult.
I totally agree, just because, for all they say, oh, we're going to outdo the DS or we're going to outdo that, they forget that the iPod is marketed to people that like music. And the DS is strictly, it plays games, that's it. And it has buttons, and
it's not it, because there are a lot of different things for the platform.
Yeah,
just to be fair.
But the iPod is meant to be like a multimedia thing, whereas the DS is primarily to play games. And no matter how they want to slice it, it's never as easy to control a virtual D-pad as it is to a regular D-pad, no matter what you're playing.
I've discovered that the games that I enjoy most have control schemes that are tailored to not having a D-pad or that sort of thing. Chaos Rings. I like Chaos Rings movement because it's not, okay, the center of your D-pad or analog stick is here, any direction. No, it's I put my thumb down, that's where the center is. I take my thumb up, the center is wherever I put my thumb down again.
Mm-hmm.
And it works well.
Well, I mean, I don't own an iPhone, and I really don't have any desire to play any of these games. I think the only games that I would play are the mini game sorts of things on iPhone or iOS or whatever. But like Angry Birds or things like that, I look at Infinity Blade, and as soon as I saw those graphics, I was like, okay, this has to be like a Simon Says game. There's no way that you're controlling a character or you're running around like Demon Souls or something.
It's a shame, because when I first started playing the game, I was like, this is totally rad. This is the prettiest game I've ever seen on my iPhone. And until another Unreal Engine game comes out, probably the prettiest game I will ever see on my iPhone.
I gotta remember that Zach's really young and he still says rad. Sorry.
Rad is just
totally
the best
rad.
word.
Totally rad, yo.
Rad is rad.
It's a word of the 80s, but I definitely was not born in the 80s.
It's also the name. It's also the name of Rams's buddy in Final Fantasy Tactics. Don't forget that.
Anyways, but yeah, so it's a really cool game, but I just can't help but think man, it's like using death as a mechanic, that's really cool, but I kind of like, I'll just play Demon Souls, you know? It's, I'll play something that has more depth. And like, I mean, like, I don't want to get into, you know, like, what is an RPG again, but like, is this really considered, you know, like an RPG if it's really just Punch Out with stats and, you know, items?
Sounds like it to me.
I mean,
if you think about it, the weapons don't change. None of the weapons change at all. They're all basically just a different number.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, you know, it's not a debate to get into, because then you could be like, is Borderlands an RPG? But yeah, I mean, like, when you get down to it, it's I don't know if I agree so much with Tooker's review. I mean, like, I've had fun playing it, but also the frame rate is really choppy, and I have a really like pet peeves for like screen tearing and like poor frame rates and stuff. So
what version of device?
I have an iPhone 3GS, so it's and granted, you know, like it's gonna be a little bit choppy regardless of what what version of whatever iDevice you have, just because if you look at the, you know, like the relative versions, there's a comparison up on, I think, Digital Foundry, which is a Eurogamer site that does graphics comparisons. They tone down the graphics, or, you know, like tone up the graphics depending on what platform you're playing on. So it's always going to be a little choppy. It's just going to look better or worse depending on, and I mean, it looks great. It's just, you know, the frame rate's clunky. The gameplay is, you know, it's just kind of when you get down to it.
It's fun for like, you know, 10, 15 minutes, and you play it a few times. But after you've pretty much run through it twice, that's really all there is to it. I mean, once you beat the guy, I mean, that's literally it. I mean, unless you want to just repeatedly level up for no reason.
Yeah, but some people like that, though. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to be the contrarian here. I'm just saying that some people really enjoy that. Like, some people play WoW just to level up. I
think your mileage really will vary with that game, depending, you know, on your tolerance for, you know, repetition, because I mean, that's what it is. But some people love it. I mean, I was in Japan, and I would go to an internet cafe, and if anybody was playing a game, they were playing Lineage 2 or Monster Hunter, and those games are the very definition of repetition. I mean,
oh yeah, I mean, at the same time, you know, like the iPhone is really meant for, you know, like
short burst.
Yeah, it's like it is. I feel like people are almost looking for that sort of experience from an RPG on the iPhone.
So I actually have been playing a game on iOS, and I'm looking up the name right now because I can't remember which game it is. But it's a turn-based RPG. And it works really well. It's like in the vein of any PC RPG from, you know.
Oh, is it Undercroft?
No.
Oh, because that game is cool.
But
Steven, I missed you.
I know you did.
Okay, wait. I think I found it. Let me see if it's Inosha. Let me see if this is right.
Oh boy.
Inosha.
But it makes me think that if the control scheme were reworked for iOS, that a game like no, it's not Inosha. It's not Inosha. Oh, yes, it is. This is it. Yeah, Inosha. So it's 99 cents right now. And it makes me it makes me think that if you took a game like Fallout or Baldur's Gate or a game like that, and had it remastered for iOS with a new control scheme and a setup like that, that would actually work really well.
Don't tempt
it would be
me
rad.
to do that.
So, BioWare, if you're listening, and I know that you are, take Baldur's Gate, port it to iOS, set aside a team like 10 dudes, have it done. Yeah.
I really hope.
I was just going to ask BioWare not to make Mass Effect 3 Call of Duty, because they'll never, ever, ever, ever make it sell as many as Call of Duty.
Yeah, I was just going to say I hope BioWare isn't listening, because I'm going to go on a little rant about them at the end of the show. So
I'm probably going to join you.
Awesome. Do we have anything else to say about Infinity Blade, or do I finally get to talk about my meaningful game experiences?
No.
I mean, yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah. No, for the final word on my end is that, you know, like for $6, it could be a much better game. But if it ever drops in price, you know, like it's not terrible, and you can show it to your friends and be like, hey friends, my phone is better than yours.
That's the most frustrating thing about iOS is I have no idea how to rate these games because it's like I spent 99 cents on this and I just spent $2 on a chicken sandwich at Burger King.
Yeah, like
how would you rate
even if it sucks, you don't really feel that put out because you're like, well, all right.
Yeah. All right. Well. Okay, so what have I been playing? I've been playing.
What have you been playing, Rob? That's a fantastic question.
What have I been playing?
Please do tell. I would be.
What have I been
all the
playing?
rest of us would love to know.
I got to think about it a little bit. No, I've been playing. I've had 3 weeks of vacation. I have the greatest job in the universe, and then I'm going to have 3 months of vacation in the summer. I love being a teacher. Let me just tell you how epic this is. So, what have I been playing? I put up my review of 999. That's actually up on the site right now. I gave it a 90. I got the true ending. My brain exploded as a result of the true ending. Zach, you need to get the true ending.
I'm working on it.
Can I just throw you a question about that real quick? I'm dying to know.
Yeah.
Is that one of those games like Pat kept telling me, or they all love Ever 17, and I tried to play it, and I've been struggling to play it, and it's like, oh yeah, beat me 6,000 times to see, the part that's interesting. And
no.
It's only 6.
You get something interesting every time, and you really only have to play the game through. You have to get one specific ending to get the true ending. So you can do it in 2 runs. For most people, it's going to take 3 because you're probably going to get the worst ending to start because you're going to do what everybody does, and then you'll go for you'll do what everybody does, and then you'll go for the ending that opens up the true ending, and then you'll get the true ending. But you learn something every time. It's not like the game ends and you didn't learn anything.
Yeah, I think that's the best part.
So depressing.
I know, right? It just makes you want to kill yourself. It's horrible. It's like I finished that ending.
Well,
and
by all means.
Wow. It was horrible. So yeah, I gave it a 90. I would definitely say it was a lot of fun. Now, what it made me do, though, was because I was interested in digital novels and these adventure-type games, I went and I picked up Miles Edgeworth, Ace Attorney Investigations.
Which, dear readers or listeners or whatever you are, I would like to note that I've been telling Rob you need to play these games in order, but at the very least he did take my advice of the one game that he could possibly play out of order.
Okay. I'm waiting for Ace Attorney 1 because it's going to come with my copy of Ghost Trick in January. Okay, but I'm playing through Miles Edgeworth, and I'm almost done the 4th case. And there's 5 cases in the game for readers that don't know. You're playing as Miles Edgeworth. He's the prosecutor, the foible to what's his face?
Phoenix
Wright, Ace Attorney. And you're going around, and it seems like it's kind of like Murder, She Wrote. Like every time this guy shows up, somebody ends up dead. And you have to, at some point, I wouldn't want this guy to come anywhere near me because you might end up dead. And you make like CSI and you solve the crimes and whatnot, and you try to put together these logic puzzles and solve what's going on. You investigate things. And the first 2 cases, I was really, really enjoying it. They were easy. I will say that right off the bat. They were easy. There were no jumps in logic. Everything was kind of spelled out, and you knew what you were doing. But then about midway through the 3rd case, there were points where I was just like, I have absolutely no idea what to present to this person to show that there's a contradiction in evidence. I don't know what clues to link together in terms of logic. And I had to go onto an FAQ, and even after reading the solution, I was like, I never would have gotten that.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. And actually, Miles Edgeworth is probably the easiest of the games.
God.
But I will admit that there is, especially in Justice for All, I remember playing through missions 3 and 4, and it became use this on this, even if it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, and that's happened to me a few times in the game. It is really starting to bother me. I got really bogged down last night, getting almost to the end of the 4th case. And I got to the point where I just said, you know what, I really don't want to play anymore because I'm having to get up and look in an FAQ because I'm going, all right, I'm missing one key piece of evidence, or I'm not doing something. There was one point where I knew exactly what I had to present, but I didn't present it in the right order. So, and it wouldn't bother me, but the game kind of has a health bar where the more mistakes that you make, it starts to drain, and that puts a little bit of pressure on you as a gamer, and I think that's a good thing. But
Have you been judiciously using the save system?
Yes.
Yeah, you pretty much have to abuse the save system in that game to get anywhere.
Oh, I mean, if I ever got to the point where I was like one move away from failing, I would just use an FAQ until I got to a point where the bar refilled. Because I refuse to have that impact me as a player. Like 999, and I'm sure some people won't like it, there's never palpable danger. You know, at the start of 999, you're locked in a room that's filling with water, so you think, oh, if I don't get out of here quickly, like, I'm going to die. But no, that's not how the game works. You have all the time you want to. So it's a much more relaxing experience. And with Miles Edgeworth, I found myself just getting really frustrated at times. I'm just like, how in God's name would I have known to do that?
No, I hear you. And I think that comes down to kind of a basic idea in adventure games. You see adventure games like Monkey Island where it's impossible to lose.
Right.
And then you look at adventure games like King's Quest, and I don't remember which one it was, but there's the one King's Quest where you, if you don't do something at like a third of the way through the game, you can literally miss it and later on never be able to finish the game.
Yeah. And
that's actually in a few of them, because there are certain cases where you can use one item or two different items to solve a puzzle, but one of them you need for a puzzle later. So
and
they can be punishing if you don't know.
And the save points in Miles Edgeworth, like you can go like 2 hours without reaching a proper save point. At least the game lets you save whenever you want to. If I ever like got to the end of the case and I lost, I would probably put the game down and not play it anymore, because I will not replay long sections of games. Like I won't do it anymore as a gamer. As I've gotten older, that holds no appeal for me. Like, no, yeah. I wouldn't do it.
We just got Kimberly and I just got Assassin's Creed Brotherhood for 360, and we had GameFlight it for PS3. And I was tasked this morning I need you to get me to the point where I was before, because I don't want to play this.
Yeah. Like as I've gotten older as a gamer, like I remember that happened to me one time in Final Fantasy VII. Like I was playing it at home, and I somehow got from like Nibelheim, like I got Vincent, and I made it all the way to like the mock shuttle launch where like you get in the tiny Bronco, and I died on a boss fight because I just wasn't paying attention, and I lost like 4 hours of progress, and I was just like, I'm not playing this again.
PS1 era. When you put in your memory card and the game doesn't check at the beginning to see if you have enough space to save the game, and it takes like 5 blocks. And you get 3 hours into the game and you try to save, and it goes, sorry, dude, you don't have enough space.
What about Diablo? What about Diablo on the PlayStation 1? And it took 10 blocks. It took 10 blocks. It was like you needed a whole memory card just for Diablo.
This is me playing Vagrant Story. All right, I'm going to just start playing it. Oh, damn. I got to the first save point. I don't have any free space. I go back. I erase a block. I go and I get to there again. Sorry, I require 2. To this day, I think that's why I haven't beaten Vagrant Story, because I'm so tired of that opening cutscene where that dude gets stabbed or whatever.
That is a great game, though. That is a great game.
Yeah, I've been trying to get into it because I love the aesthetic in that game. It's totally awesome.
Yeah, if Miles Edgeworth sent me back 2 hours of progress, I would do like the whole Peter Griffin, like close the DS, just done, just walk away from it. I wouldn't come back. So I mean, I'm liking it. I'm not liking it as much as 999. I think 999 makes more logical sense. Like, okay, granted, at one point you use like nitroglycerin and a chicken to open up a door, but like,
wow, what door is that behind?
Is it close to the cat hair mustache puzzle in Gabriel Mate?
I remember that.
No, it's like, okay, there's a couple puzzles like that in 999, but they spell it out for you. And like, I'm playing something on in Miles Edgeworth, like in the 4th case, there's something like, oh, there's a red rubbery substance on top of this window, and it's like I have to figure out what it is, and I'm sitting there going, I don't know, it could be a condom for all I know. Like, what am I supposed? Oh, the cactus. It obviously had to be a balloon. Like, what?
I'm sorry.
What? Like Miles Edgeworth, you have to connect these logic pieces, and he comes to this great deduction, and I'm sitting there like, I'll have 2 pieces, and I'm just like, I'll just plug them in, and I'll be like, yeah, I'd like to know how those 2 fit together, Miles Edgeworth.
Yeah, that's
like,
definitely 999 does a really good job of that, and I mean sometimes even to the point of like, just spelling it out too much for you, because like there've been puzzles where I've been like, oh, I'll like take the water and like, and there's like this, so you look at the fireplace and it's like, oh, it's on fire, and then you're like, oh, I can use the water, and oh, what can I use to hold the water? And there's a vase, and then they're like, hey, you can use this vase to hold the water to use it. And I'm like, I knew that. I could figure it out. But yeah, no, but I mean, like, at the very least, there, it helps when you have no clue what's going on.
This all reminds me of a Penny Arcade from several years ago where they're investigating the death of one of the new kids on the block, and then one of the comics is just – it shows them investigating, and it goes, oh, it was Big Bird. Now it all makes sense.
I remember that one.
I like Miles Edgeworth, and I'm most likely going to finish it. I mean, I'm this close. I know that the fifth case is really long, and I'm kind of –
I will be completely honest with you. Like, having played through the entirety of the first game without using a FAQ, anytime I got stuck in 2 or 3, I was like, screw it, what's the answer?
Yeah. Like because I like the story that's playing out, and I do feel kind of intelligent sometimes when I remember that one key piece. But at one point, there's something in the third case. There's like a bunch of badgers, and there's like Dixie Badger and like Proto Badger, and they're all slightly different.
What?
And at one point, I had to know that the one badger was wearing his belt wrong. And I was just sitting there going, like, I am not that observant. Like, if my girlfriend got her hair cut, I wouldn't notice it. How am I supposed to know in the game if the badger is wearing his belt wrong? This is ridiculous. So
When you say badger.
No,
you mean like,
no, Steven, no.
No. I mean, like, the animal badger with the funny flat tail and stuff? Or is that a beaver?
That one, that's a beaver.
Okay.
Two, they introduce early on. I don't know if it's Phoenix Wright 1 or Phoenix Wright 2, but there's a mascot for the police department called the Blue Badger.
Yeah.
Okay, and he wears funky belts, evidently.
Yes, and it was very like that puzzle. I was sitting there going, "Wow, there's no way I would have gotten that." So. Miles Edgeworth, definitely enjoyable. I'm probably going to play through Ghost Trick because I'm intrigued by that, and I'll play a little bit of the original Ace Attorney in January when I get both of those. The other games that I played, 2 quick hits that lead directly into each other, surprisingly. Played the Mass Effect 2 demo on PS3, which is supposed to be the Mass Effect 3 engine. Am I right on that one, Zach?
Yes, that is correct.
Yes.
Yeah, and okay, I don't really see it. Now, granted, I played it on PC, so playing it on PS3, the control scheme really wasn't G'ing up with me too much. After you play mouse and keyboard, you really can't go back when it comes to shooters.
I disagree. I used to play Counter-Strike all the time, and I play Call of Duty on the 360.
Yeah, I can't go backwards. Like, I was having a lot of trouble, like, pinpointing people, and the big problem that I was having was, and this plays into the next game, Mass Effect 2, Stephen and I talked about it the other day, is so well optimized on PC. It runs like butter. It doesn't really matter what gaming rig you have. Like, I have a pretty high-end rig. I run it
run.
Yeah, I run it at max settings, 60 frames per second almost constantly, except when things get really crazy. And it runs beautifully. It makes the shooting so much better. The texture work is so much better. And meanwhile, Mass Effect 1, no matter what
garbage.
You run it on, it runs like garbage. It's horrible.
Well, it was also Mass Effect 1 was programmed by Demiurge, not in-house by BioWare.
Right, exactly. And so that optimization, that shows me just how important it is with PC gaming that the developers
do it right.
Yeah, you have to do it right. Now, so that being said, final notes on Mass Effect 2. For PlayStation 3 owners, for people that have never played it before, definitely something to go out and get. I think that the motion comic is maybe not the best way of going about the whole Mass Effect 1 thing, but
I you know what, here, and that's where I have to disagree. Where
I need to disagree as well.
It works incredibly well for summing up the story without having to go through that gameplay, and it's because of exclusivity or whatever, we're never going to see Mass Effect 1 on other than the 2 platforms they're already on.
Right.
And I think that anything that's able to sum it up like that is a great idea.
Yeah, but you're missing something. Like if I had just been coming into Mass Effect 2 without knowing anything about Mass Effect 1, and I really was to an extent. Like before I reviewed Mass Effect 2, I went online, I read through the whole Mass Effect 1 wiki. You know, I made sure I knew what the hell a Krogan was. And if you're a PlayStation 3 gamer and you're coming into Mass Effect 2, and that's all the knowledge that you get, I don't feel like it's enough.
Now, but here's the thing. I haven't played the PS3 demo. I have it on my console. Do they have the novel there?
No, they have like an abridged, they have a really quick abridged, here's what happened.
Yeah, so I have a feeling that the novel will have gameplay sections and things like that, and I have a feeling it will not be okay, here's what happened, see you guys, it's 15 minutes later, you're now...
I don't think it'll be more than a half hour.
It's got choices and stuff, but I think
it's got choices, but they're in the novel. Like I don't think there's going to be like gameplay shootout scenes.
Have you watched
what it basically is just you know the sequence in the beginning when what's his name, Jacob and Miranda are talking to Shepard and they're asking if he remembers what happened.
Yeah, it's like a recap of that.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
That sequence happens and the motion comic comes before it, and there's no gameplay. There's just you see the story, and then it's like, oh, do you want to kill the Rachni Queen, or do you want to let it survive?
But
and
here's the thing.
You miss out on those little side quests, like with the Helena chick, the crime boss or whatever. You miss out on the side quest decisions, but you get to make the big ones, which is, I guess, better than nothing.
I'm going to ask this question, even though I already know the answer to it, because I know Rob. Rob, did you ever watch the Uncharted digital novels?
I really hate you.
No,
why do you bring up such a crap game?
We're not going to have this argument here. Rob doesn't like Uncharted because he hates fun. But
yes,
anyway,
that's exactly it. I also hate
fun. Wait. Excitement.
No. I also hate. I hate poorly controlled characters and extremely linear gameplay
and puppies.
Okay,
puppies.
So anyway, Sony on PlayStation Network released a bunch of digital comics called The Eye of Indra. And it was a story that played out with all the Uncharted stuff. And all in all, it was like 30 minutes long. And I think that easily with choices and extensions that they could make something that's feature length. And I think that they will.
No, I don't think it'll be longer than a half hour. I really don't. I do not think it'll be because do you as a gamer, after everything that you've seen about Mass Effect, where it's just scene after scene of you shooting people in the head, do you think that they're going to have the audience sit there for 2 hours and watch a comic book?
I think that it will be optional. I think that if a gamer does it, can you tell that I have a marketing background?
Yeah.
When a gamer goes through a game, I think that for me, like I've played through Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2, I'll play through Mass Effect 3. I think that I will play through Mass Effect, the comic, on PS3 just to see what it's like.
All right. I mean, that's fair.
One thing I'm going to say is that their implementation, not even of just the comic, but how they're doing it is less than stellar. It's not on the disc. You have to download it. I feel like this could be a big problem. It's part of.
I didn't even know that.
Part of Cerberus, which is free with a new copy of the game. But anyone who buys it
actually go.
Yeah, anyone who buys it used will not have it for free, and anyone who just buys it who doesn't have their PS3 hooked up to the internet or even knows to download, like Cerberus Network, especially it only comes up right at the start of the game. Like pretty much within the first 10 minutes. So you have to be willing to put aside,
Well, here's the question. I know that they didn't include Zaid on the disc for Mass Effect 2. With a Blu-ray though, I could honestly see them having it be like, how there are those downloads on 360 where they're 100 kilobytes.
And it's just like a code.
Yeah, it's an unlock.
It's an unlock. I can totally see that happening for this on PS3.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, it's like the power of Blu-ray. It's like where Otacon, messages you to tell you how awesome Blu-ray is, and it's like, yep, now we have to install this chapter into your PS3.
Octagon.
Yeah, Octagon.
Well, they said though that Mass Effect 2 on PS3 has all the DLC on the disc.
Yes.
You don't have to buy it, right?
No. So all of the big DLC packs are Overlord Kasumi's Stolen Memories, and Lair of the Shadow Broker are all on the disc, but I think maybe Zaid and a couple of whatever what's it? Cerberus Network. Yeah, Cerberus Network, Gun, Zaid. All of that business will be on the disc. I don't know about the new character or new costumes. But I'm almost 100% sure that you cannot access the motion comic without connecting to Cerberus Network.
Yeah, no. Like I said, I think that it will likely be on the disc, but unlocked when you connect to Cerberus Network. I don't think that they're going to be like, oh, you need to download this huge thing.
I think a lot of gamers are going to miss it, or they're not going to give a crap about it, and they're going to be missing out on what's great about Mass Effect.
You know, while I have a great amount of skepticism for what becomes the average gamer, having worked at a GameStop all through college, I know how dumb a lot of consumers are. But as long as they do it, like when I installed Mass Effect 2 for PC today because I have a copy of it, and I figured, why not? I may have already played this on 360, but I have a ton of hard drive space now. And it's like, you need to log into network. Do it now.
All right. Okay, now I don't want to talk anymore about Mass Effect 2. We'll see how it comes out we'll see how it is when it comes out. What to do? But what I wanted to lead into was I picked up on Steam sale The Witcher for $5.
Yes.
Which I'm about an hour and a half into. I've already slept with one woman, so that's faster than my record in real life.
Well, no. Here's the thing. You slept with the red-haired woman, right?
Yeah.
That's like the gimme.
Well, I need a freebie sometimes, John.
Yeah, Geralt had been dead for several centuries, or I can't remember, but he was out of commission. So
bring it on. I gotta. Okay, so far, The Witcher, dark fantasy title based off of a
Polish
novel. Dark fantasy. You're playing as is it Geralt or Geralt? Geralt. Okay. I'm playing the enhanced edition, so it has the redone dialogue. It sounds a little bit more natural. There's still some places that are kind of lost in translation. A couple things about The Witcher.
Fixes.
What?
The enhanced edition added a ton of bug fixes and stuff. The original release had a ton of bugs.
Yeah, we're getting to that. First off, I have a beefy rig.
Okay.
No, John, I haven't even had a chance to say what's wrong with it. No. Here's the deal, okay? And then I'm going to make John's point, and then he's going to shut up. This is how we're going to do this. Okay, first off, I have a beefy rig. It's way above the requirements for The Witcher.
It's a laptop.
It's a laptop. I don't care. I can play.
It's got a mobility card.
I can play Mass Effect 2 at max settings.
It's because you don't have fat pipes. That's why.
Apparently. And so The Witcher plays like crap on my PC. It plays like crap, and it looks like crap. So I'm really having a hard time wow, this game is running at 20 frames per second at times. Meanwhile, I can play Left 4 Dead 2, Left 4 Dead 1, Mass Effect 2, Fallout 3. All these games run like butter on my PC, and little old Witcher can't handle it. And I understand John's point that a lot of these graphics cards came out long after The Witcher came out, but this just shows that you really need an active community. You really need to, make sure that you update your drivers, update your patches so that your game will run. I bought Splinter Cell Conviction on Steam sale, and I found out that my card is not even covered by Ubisoft. Thanks, jerks. Way to be on that one. That just makes PC gaming awful to me. And then you have something like StarCraft 2, which is don't worry, I'll run on your Pentium 4. Don't worry, I got you covered.
So
StarCraft 2 is don't worry, I'll run no matter what.
But Rob is he's on Windows 7 64-bit edition, which is an operating system that came out after even The Witcher Enhanced Edition came out.
So what?
That's not a so what thing. Have you tried? Are you running in XP compatibility mode?
No.
Why not try that?
Well, la-di freaking da. Maybe I didn't think about that.
No, here's the thing. You're playing on an operating system that did not exist when this game was launched.
Yeah, it would require a substantial amount of retooling to get it to the point where it would be able to make use of that 64-bit architecture.
All right, smartasses. Now, how do I do? Wait a minute. I love how Zach just jumped onto The Witcher. I'm sitting here watching.
I'm just checking it out.
Profile.
Hey, I'm checking it out. See if I have the same frame rate.
How do you launch it? Oh, it's set launch options. How do you make sure that you launch it?
I actually don't know how to do it in Steam. Whoops. Because I have the disc-based edition of The Witcher, the first one. It's not a fancy red box.
Ooh. Well, I got the Steam edition, and I'll try the XP mode. I will, but
we actually don't need to go into that right now. We can continue having our argument.
Okay, fine. Bring it on.
So no,
what you got, son? What you got?
I'm running an architecture that's not so dissimilar from Rob's. You got, what do you have? Is it a Core 2 Duo or a
Core 2 Duo?
Okay, so I'm running a dual core Pentium, which is essentially the same chip but with less cache, and I'm running one generation up of card from his, but a 2 series back. So he's got a mobility 3850,
3870.
Yeah, okay, and I've got a 4650.
Yeah.
So we're probably running cards that are about of equal power. And I have no problem whatsoever in The Witcher, but I have desktop architecture, and I run everything in Windows XP mode unless it was, a game that came out in the past year.
All right, well, I'll run it in XP mode, and we'll see what happens. Maybe you're right. That is a good point. But what I am saying is that does make me nervous for buying The Witcher 2, because I'm sitting here going like,
No, and I don't think that's something that you should be nervous about. Like I mentioned to you before the podcast, I've been trying to reinstall all these old games since I got this new hard drive, and I tried installing the expansion pack to Gothic 3 Forsaken Gods, and I can't even get it to install onto Win 7. It gives me an error midway through installation. I tried running it in XP mode. I tried everything. It will not install on Win 7. And then just the initial Gothic 3 runs like crap.
Well, I mean, it makes me nervous with Deus Ex coming out and with Witcher 2 coming out, with these high-end games coming out. I mean, my rig is still pretty nice, but this is where I get really concerned with PC gaming. Like, okay, we all know that Ubisoft hates PC gamers between their awful DRM and the fact that, like, Splinter Cell Conviction's just like, yeah, we got a bunch of cards that we're not going to use. Sorry. I mean, that sort of stuff just makes me not want to play these games on PC, but I want to play these games on PC.
Desktop.
So, well, that's the next step. I'm probably going to get a desktop next year. So
you can build one for like $500.
Oh, I know I can build one, but if I have the money and I want to go beefy, I might as well just get one. So I have the money. I'm a young single male. I'm a teacher. Everything's good. And that about wraps up my rant. So Stephen, why don't you tell us about happy things, puppies, kittens, and whatnot?
Well, see, Nathan Drake. All right, no, wait. Sorry.
God.
Anyway.
I will cut your mic.
Being that I haven't been here in a while, I have a lot I want to talk about, but I'm going to try to go with more recent stuff. I've actually been playing quite a few adventure games. I played, first of all, I just want to get it in there, The Silver Lining, which is the fan-made sequel to King's Quest that survived 2 cease and desists. I just wanted to point out that I've been playing that, and it's actually quite fun, and it's amazing what those people made, but I don't think we strictly cover it on the site, so I don't know if necessarily,
Yeah, it's in a weird place. You can talk about it if you want. I mean, I'm not going to stop you. I don't think we cover it on RPGFan because it's kind of in that legal gray area. I don't know what the deal is with it, but
yeah. But I just wanted to point out that if anybody likes King's Quest, it's worth trying because the people that made it, they clearly love it, and I think they deserve all the credit they can possibly get for sticking to it. And I've also been playing, it's not out in the U.S. yet. I think it's only out in, like, Germany, but it's called Gray Matter, and it's this adventure game made by Jane Jensen, who was responsible for some of the early, I think King's Quest 6, and also, I believe, the Gabriel Knight games. And it's basically just like a modern, point-and-click adventure game, but it's so well put together, and, like, the dialogue is just real, like, the story and the dialogue is great. And I've been playing demo, like, to death, and I really think people should check it out because it's coming out in the U.S. sometime this year, and I'm definitely going to get it when it comes out. And what I want to talk about most, though, I bought it today, actually, is the Back to the Future game.
Yeah, I was thinking about reviewing that, and then I saw that you wanted it, and I said, "Hey, have at it." So tell me about it, Marty.
Dude, I love Back to the Future. Like, those are some of my absolute favorite movies. I had ridiculously high expectations for this game. I was like, there have been some really bad Back to the Future games. Let me put it this way. You start up the game, and it starts up with the DeLorean, and, you start the game, and the interface menu, like, for options and stuff, is you clicking through all the panels in the DeLorean.
Yes.
So I was like, all right, this is pretty sweet. And, so you boot up the game, and the introduction sequence is the sequence when Marty and Doc are first testing the time machine in the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes along as the movie, like Doc's like, what the hell is a gigawatt? And this sucker's nuclear and all that stuff from the movie. And it's really cool. Well, then if I feel like I might be getting too in depth, but basically in the movie, when the DeLorean disappears and then they're talking and then Doc goes, oh shit, get out of the way. Oh, damn. Doc goes, oh crap, get out of the way. And he pushes Marty out of the way and the DeLorean reappears. That doesn't happen in the game. And all this crazy stuff starts happening. And as Marty, you can choose what you want to say. And you can actually say, wait, this isn't how it happens. What's going on? And, you get led into seeing Doc's journal where he wrote all of his decades of research for the time machine. And then it turns out it's just a dream. And Marty wakes up, I guess it's 3 months after the end of the third movie. And, it goes from there. And all I can say is the puzzles so far have been ridiculously easy. The game doesn't run super great, but it doesn't matter. It's completely awesome. If you like Back to the Future, I see no feasible way you could not like this game.
So
I love Back to the Future.
AJ Locascio, the guy that voices Marty, I mean, it's been done to death on the internet. The dude sounds just like Michael J. Fox. Like, it's uncanny.
Please, no Michael J. Fox jokes.
So, Steven, I have a question for you. Which is a better game that has a DeLorean that came out this year? Back to the Future or Gran Turismo 5?
Back to the Future. I don't even need to play Gran Turismo 5 to know that.
Wait a minute.
Wrong.
Wait a minute. There's a DeLorean and
actually, there's a DeLorean. Is it the time machine or is it just a DeLorean?
It's just a DeLorean.
I'm buying that.
It's an awful car. Like, it's...
Well, it's also, like, made out of steel and, like, pain.
It's the most unaerodynamic thing, and they made a time machine out of it. That's great.
Well, I thought if you're going to build a time machine, then you might as well do it with some style.
With some style. That's the best line, because it makes no sense.
1.21 gigawatts.
What the hell is a gigawatt?
It was supposed to be gigawatt, right?
Yeah, that's why it's hilarious.
Hilarious.
But, yes, if you like Back to the Future, I think it's impossible for you not to like that game. Because, I mean, they had Bob Gale, one of the producers from the movie, doing, like, story consultation. And just the whole time you're playing it, like, Marty wakes up in his room, and in the background there's the picture of Doc and Marty at the construction of the clock tower when they're in the 1800s. And, you can turn on the TV in Doc's apartment, and the TV, goes, oh, and as for time travel, nature has methods in place that prevent you from, for example, going back in time and preventing your own conception. And Marty kind of looks over at his dad and kind of, like, smiles. And there's just all these really cool, like, nods to the movies. And, like, I guess it's kind of a puzzle spoiler, but it's blatantly stupid obvious. So, the first puzzle, you have to basically get this book from Biff because he won't give it to you. So you jack up the amplifier like in the first movie, and Biff plays the guitar and it blows him away, just like it did to Marty.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's just, if you like the movies, that's just a nonstop awesome fest.
I'm liking this.
So buy it now so they continue making more. Well, they're definitely making more, but yes, it's totally worth it. The music is great. Christopher Lloyd sounds great as Doc Brown. The guy they got to replace Crispin Glover for George McFly is good.
Go, Johnny, go. Go.
Oh, it has Huey Lewis in it, too.
Actual Huey Lewis?
I'm not sure. I don't know enough about Huey Lewis to say. I mean, it sounds pretty close.
We all know what the real news was. So do you like Back to the Future? That's the thing.
Yes, the game is awesome. It doesn't disappoint in any way. The puzzles aren't that difficult, but really what it is a sequel to the movie that's totally in the spirit of them. It's got the same kind of humor. It's at the same, like, language maturity level. Like, they still, they swear like they did in the movie, not profusely, but they still say it,
They still they still drop an S-bomb every other word.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Which is weird because the art style is kind of cartoony, but the game itself is in the same exact aesthetic as the movie, so it's very well done.
Interesting. All right. Well.
I also have been playing recently Etrian Odyssey 3 and Golden Sun Dark Dawn. I'm a ridiculously huge Golden Sun fan, so I was ridiculously excited for Dark Dawn.
Were you also ridiculously disappointed?
I'm not ridiculously disappointed. However, I'm a good ways into it, and I really like that it's very similar to the other ones, but that's exactly what I don't like about it, is that it sort of feels like instead of actually offering anything new, they changed the names of the main characters, added some more Dijin, mixed up the world map, and it's the same game.
Yeah.
And it's a great game, but it just feels like there's the reason the originals were so well. There was a lot of reasons that they were awesome, but it's just it feels way too similar because everything is so well produced. But I'm playing it and I feel like I've done it all before, and I didn't expect that at all. Even though it's really good, it's a great game, but having played the other ones, I feel like I'm just sort of rehashing it because the game has an ending very similar, I think, to the original Golden Sun, which is to say it isn't an ending. It's just okay, wait for the next one. And it feels like they're holding a lot back so they can do exactly what they did last time, which is to release a second part of it and have everything get all together in that, which is great, but it kind of sucks because it feels literally like they intentionally left out half the game. Like you don't get to go to the parts of the world map that you know are there, that they talk about, and they talk about characters that seem important, and they set up mysteries that they're not going to answer in this game, and that's a little lame just considering how long they had to make it. It would have been nice if they had just dumped the full experience into one game.
As someone who
didn't
play the original Golden Sun games, do I care? Is this a game that I care about?
I think you would. Actually, I think that would even make it better because you didn't play the original, so you won't get that sense of really, really hardcore deja vu that I get when I play. And you don't have to have played because it has this really awesome encyclopedia feature where, anytime they mention a weird term like Synergy or Wayard or the Golden Sun, you can tap on it on the text, and it will actually pop up an encyclopedia explanation on top with some cool art. So anything that you wouldn't know from the first game, you can get a little explanation of it. And it's not done like every other word, so it doesn't get really tedious, but it's good for keeping track of all the stuff that's going on, and you don't have to have had to have played the first two because they do a really good job summing it in the ridiculously long intro.
I always thought that Golden Sun was a strategy RPG. Isn't this one very much a turn-based?
It's never been a strategy RPG.
I always thought it was.
They are all turn-based RPGs.
What am I thinking of? Wait a minute. I thought that the dudes from Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Fire Emblem.
That's
there we go. Okay, there we go. That's the problem. Okay, moving on.
But yeah, so it's a good game. It's just if you've played the other two, you'll play it and you'll enjoy it, and you won't feel disappointed, but you'll feel like you wish they had done more. It's because they had so long to make it, and it really just feels like because the character designs are really close to the characters from the first one, and each person, it's because they're the kids of those people. But I mean, literally, Matthew, the main character, looks identical to Isaac from the first one, and that's cool because Isaac was awesome, and his costume is cool. But on the other hand, it literally just feels like it's not a remake, but it feels like a sort of like they just redid it. So it's not as good as I wanted it to be, but it's also by no means a disappointment.
I hear you.
And then Etrian Odyssey 3, that game, I could see why people wouldn't like it, but I think it's completely amazing. It's very repetitive and grindy, and you have to draw your own maps, and you can lose progress very frequently because you get ambushed by a bunch of strong bad guys, and they totally slaughter you. But
it's like playing the old Ultima games, and it's just like, grr.
Yeah, and it's so customizable. It feels like you can just create your whole party, have them be your own, get your thing going on. You can fight any way you want. They did a really good job balancing it out compared to the second one, because in the second one there were sort of certain builds that were just kind of pointless. And this one they've just done a really good job of balancing it so you can kind of be anything you want. There's a lot of really cool classes. The classes are totally different from the other two games. I mean, some of them still fall into archetypes. You still get a warrior, you still get, a wizard, but the wizard is called the Zodiac, and he fights with the power of the stars and some other nonsense.
I remember being at E3 when this year, and the Atlas PR rep he he swore at me. It was in a friendly way, but because he was trying to show me the multiplayer boss battles, and I chose to be the farmer.
Well done, John. Well done. Aren't you our PR manager?
Yeah. No, but
Well, he was managing it quite well.
Yeah, no. Here's the thing: when you talk to the same people after years, you get to know them, and it was all in good-natured fun, and I think he expected it from me.
The farmer party is in that game. Basically, if you want to ever buy new equipment, you don't get it by killing monsters and selling their stupid loot because it gives you like no money. You basically have to create a second party of farmers and run around farming stuff, and that's where I think some of the repetition can come in for people, because it is a little repetitive, but it's almost like having like two separate parties. But the farmers fight like crap. It sucks, because they can use knives and pitchforks, and not Excalibur and all the amazing equipment you find. And their special abilities are things like bandage and take a nap.
I love naps.
Take a nap's the best power.
Take a nap is a great power.
So are we ready for news?
I think we are. We're getting a little long in the tooth here, and we're getting a little silly. So, are we ready? We got lots of news.
Are you ready? Is the question.
Yeah, well, there is a lot of news to talk about. So
let me tell you about some news. I'm just gonna blow through a couple of like release date announcements and stuff like that.
Well, we're gonna have to tear them all apart. So you better go slow, my son.
Secret of Mana on your iPhone.
Okay, we don't really need to talk
December
about that.
December 21st.
Don't people still have Super Nintendos?
No. Yes, I do. But
I do.
But like,
and you get to use your digital control pad to play it.
Heck yeah.
Or your virtual control pad on the iPhone.
I hear that the iOS version of that game is awful.
That's because Square Enix puts no effort into anything now.
Mm-hmm. But okay, so Trinity Souls of Zil is coming out February 11th. That's another.
The preview that time forgot.
Yep, the preview that time forgot. Robin, any new impressions, or are we just...
New impressions of what? I zoned out. What are we talking
about?
Trinity
Souls of Zil.
Nope, nothing.
That's a cool name.
Yeah, Mass Effect 2 coming out on January 18th, 2011 for PS3.
Isn't that like the same day it came out last year?
Maybe.
Impressive.
Perhaps. I think it was like the 23rd, but I mean that was by like 5 days or something. But yeah, so that's for those of you who care, it's going to come out with the Lair of the Shadow Broker, Kasumi's Stolen Memories, and Overlord DLC, Blood Dragon Armor, everything in the Cerberus network, and the new comic. So check that out, and it'll be running in the Mass Effect 3 engine. So all of the textures and such should be about roughly the same. I don't know, maybe they'll upgrade them because they have the space because of the Blu-ray. But you're looking at one of the best games of this year on your PS Triple. So check that out, January 18th. Tales of Monkey Island is now on your iPad. $7.
Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, $7. Episode 1. I'm sure they'll be putting out more soon. Riven, the sequel to Myst, is now available on iPhone and iPod Touch.
Oh, I love that game.
Isn't that the game that was like on 17 CDs?
It was on 5.
Oh, God.
The most I remember was Phantasmagoria was on 7.
Oh, my God. That game had a ton of discs.
But
is that the game with the rape?
I don't know.
No, I don't think it is. I think that's the game with the live-action footage of people.
I thought Phantasmagoria and there was some rape scenes.
It's been a while.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm not saying that lightly. I'm saying that was like back in the age where it was like it was like gutsy and risky to like put a woman being violated into a game. I really want to have a return to that. Like, awesome, guys.
Now Square Enix is going to make a ton of money doing it in Third Birthday. Woo, snap!
Oh, well played.
I was looking, and apparently people have done speed runs of Myst in like 2 minutes.
What? How?
Because they just click through everything, and it's like they're on YouTube, and I've never played Myst, but like from what I understand, that game is like 10 or 12 hours, and it's got obscene puzzles.
I mean, I guess if you know the solutions and you put zip mode on, which like teleports you through locations, I mean, you can click like super fast. But still, holy crap.
Well, that's like did you guys see the Portal speed run that came out like 2 weeks ago?
Oh, that was so cool.
No, it wasn't cool because the guy cheated. Like, he broke the game. Like, about his third or fourth
Yeah,
move, he goes through like 17. He goes through like 17 walls. Like that's not a speed run. You know, that kind of bugged me a little bit. Like,
I hear you.
I guess that's true.
That bugged me.
But the missed speed run, from what I understand, was not a buggy, something like that. It was literally this guy beats Myst in a minute and a half.
Wow.
If I didn't think it would kill my internet right now, I would so go watch that. That would be so cool. It took me like 3 years to beat Myst. It was like 5, but it was still. It was really, really hard.
Daddy, did I just die?
No, I kid you not. My dad owned the game, so I'd be like, Dad, how do you play this? He's like, I have no idea. He's like, that game sucks. It's too hard.
Your dad's just like, my name's Paul, and this is between y'all. I don't care. All right, what else you got for us, Zach? Keep going.
Two Worlds 2 has a release date, so that's coming out January 25th.
Can we get to the good stuff?
No. Final Fantasy Tactics on the iOS is coming out early next year as opposed to this year, so that's got a small delay, but it's coming. And
if they fix the lag in that was in the PSP version, it will be the best version of that game, and I will buy it.
You know what they should release for the iPad? Diablo 3.
Ugh.
I'm not
sure
kidding.
there will be an app.
Dude, I would buy. I think Apple is an evil, terrible corporation, and I got an iPhone for Christmas, by the way, an iPod. I would buy an iPad if Diablo 3 came out on that.
I would too.
Ever get anything done anywhere, ever.
Yep.
Chrono Cross is coming to the PSN.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
That's worth celebrating.
F the haters. That game is awesome.
Thank you, Rob. That's why we're here.
That is an awesome, awesome game.
Chrono Cross is one of the best games ever made, and I don't understand how people can't like it.
It's like Final Fantasy VIII's battle system, only it works. Works? Only it works.
It works. It's really fun.
Yo, man, it's really fun. It works.
I summoned Eden. It took 5 minutes.
Okay. Anywho,
but yes, that's going to come out in Japan.
It really does work.
Don't know about America yet.
It's going to come out in America.
Eventually.
Okay.
Like a month.
Wait. Okay, it's Final Fantasy VIII, except the combat works. Everything is awesome about this game. But I will, and I'm not going to make this joke. I will cite the joke because Shane Bettenhausen said it like years ago on the old Retronauts podcast on 1UP. The one problem with Chrono Cross is that there are so many characters that eventually you have like a space alien, a flower, and a block of wood.
Don't forget the giant pink puffball.
And fungi.
Yeah,
Fungi is the best character in that game. He's a walking, talking mushroom
and Steven
with an axe.
And Steven just told us more about his routine weekend activities than he meant to.
Don't hate.
That's the only bad thing about Chrono Cross. It does have too many characters, but it's awesome. And can we put a link? I've been watching those Dorkly videos on Dorkly.com, and there's a really funny Chrono Trigger one. Can we put that link into the show?
I suppose.
It's really funny. We'll put that link into the show, guys. I'll show it to you guys after the podcast because you guys will just burst into laughter if you watch it now.
I like laughter.
Okay, so Chrono Cross, awesome. Go play it. It rocks.
Best soundtrack ever.
Oh, God, that opening theme song, like, I still listen to it.
When people saw that opening theme song, they were blown away. Whether they liked the game or not, everybody saw that and went, holy crap.
Yeah, and it's awesome. It's like the darkest video game ever made. Now, okay, the story gets a little off the rails at the end, and they definitely tell you things instead of show you things, but it's still awesome, and it's great.
Yes.
Awesome game. Awesome. Okay.
More news. Final
Great
Fantasy V heads to Virtual Console.
Does any?
Because we need
Really?
another. Yeah, because we need another platform for that to
I
be
want to fight a tree.
I didn't like Final Fantasy V.
$8.
I like the gameplay.
I want to fight a tree.
I really didn't like.
I want to fight a tree.
I really didn't like Final Fantasy V. I played it when it came out on PlayStation 1. Maybe that was half the problem, but it didn't do it for me.
Many butts.
Maybe you should just throw it into the void.
Could it possibly be because you fight a tree?
It could be. I liked the battle system. The story was awful.
Now, I just heard that. Does someone have their text message tone as the Sonic get a ring noise?
That's me, and I apologize. I didn't have it muted.
I didn't hear it. Wow. More news.
Tales of Zillia.
Oh no!
Zillow.
Tales game.
Yeah.
Wait, Tales of Zillow? What?
Zillow. Yeah.
Look,
It's
no one ever had to
January
make
28th. And no, so this is the next Tales of game.
Hey, I wonder if we'll get Graces.
Yeah,
No.
never. No.
Dude, we're
Sorry.
probably not even going to get this one.
So, no, I mean, well, it was announced in Jump in Japan. I think Shonen Jump. If that is the Jump that I am thinking of.
Hey, there's a bunch of jumps.
And yeah,
Jump.
and there's a trailer on the internet, and there's some stuff, and it's the first in the Tales series to feature two main protagonists. Yeah. Tales.
All right. Here, let me backpedal here. It's going to have skits. It's going to have XR AMLBS battle system, and it's going to involve anime stereotypes, and it'll probably be awesome.
Moving on. More news.
More news. Dragon Quest VI: Realms of Revelation is coming in February.
Which one's the good Dragon Quest? Is that Dragon Quest V?
4, 5, and 6 are all pretty good.
All the ones for the DS are good.
Yeah, 5 is the better of the bunch.
5's the one that's impossible to find now.
Yeah, but I think that's the one that I found, but then I lost track of it. Isn't 5 the one where it's like you play through several generations?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the one I really want to play, and I found it, and I didn't buy it.
Did they remake that one on DS?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
played that and got to the second generation.
So so this is.
So were you like running around with Picard and Worf and whatnot, or?
No, that's the next generation.
I'm sorry, I thought that was kind of funny, guys.
I thought it was funny.
Jerks.
Jerfus. Yeah. But anyway, so this is the last in the and I think it's called the Zenithia trilogy, which is the trilogy of Dragon Quests 4, 5, and 6. And it's got more better graphics and more classes and stuff.
Better.
More money, more problems.
We're just making fun of Steven for his janky internet.
Dude, this internet sucks.
Wow. I thought I had it bad. All right, more news. More
news. So what? So
can we get to the announcements?
I think we can. So Rob, there's a game. It's called Mass Effect 3.
And there's no multiplayer apparently. Woohoo!
Hey, you don't know about that yet.
Wait.
They said
What?
single player. We lost him again. I cut his mic.
Did he say wait what and disconnect?
Yes, I did. Wait, what? No, I don't want to hear about that. Forget that. That's nonsense.
It's like when you lose an X-wing in the Star Wars trilogy. Wait, what? Boom.
Anyways, so straight from the VGAs, we have Mass Effect 3 and Elder Scrolls V Skyrim coming within 10 days of each other. Okay. November 1st for Mass Effect and November 11th for...
what the hell were they thinking?
No, the good thing about that is
why are they doing that to me?
That's exactly the right amount of time that you need to beat Mass Effect.
Dude, it took me like 2 months to beat Mass Effect 2. I have like 85 hours in that game.
What are you doing with your life, sir?
Sir.
No, I know what he's doing. No, I know what he's doing. He's mining.
No. I wasn't mining, I swear.
But yeah, so there was that one screenshot with the dude with the sniper rifle that BioWare leaked out. Turns out that dude was in Big Ben on Earth.
That was kind of cool.
On Earth. I hope that Shepard is like right hook. Welcome to Earth.
Oh God! But is it going to be like Halo 2, where we fight for like 2 hours on Earth and it's awesome, and then all of a sudden we're riding? I'm sorry, the Arbiter, and nobody cares.
I don't know.
I don't think they're going to make it. I think it'll be Shepard.
What happens if you died at the end of Mass Effect 2?
What happens if you die again at the beginning of Mass Effect 3?
You play as the British dude.
If you die at the end of Mass Effect,
cool.
If you die at the end of 2, you can't transfer your save.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah, because if you die, it doesn't like prompt you to save the game.
It says does
not
compute.
Okay,
it just goes, LOL, you should have made more friends.
You were supposed to win with the power of friendship. Didn't you watch Captain Planet?
At that point, the game's just like, dude, how did you do this?
Yeah, you got to really try to die in that game.
I'm going to call out BioWare right there and say that's kind of a cop-out because, I mean, they made a big deal about how you can die during the final mission. And, I mean, like, granted, you know, you can lose party members and stuff, but, like, you really...
No. Dude, I know exactly what's going on, and it's a fantastic marketing solution. Literally, if you died in Mass Effect 2 and you attempt to purchase a copy of Mass Effect 3, BioWare is going to send a hitman to kill you so that you cannot play Mass Effect 3.
It'd be funny if the
They'll be
game
like,
said,
"Ha!
sorry.
Now you can't play our new Call of Duty inspired Mass Effect multiplayer."
We'll see about that. They've made no official announcements. Let's
No,
see.
they said
I'm
that
sorry.
they said it's classified as a single player game. And since BioWare hasn't said anything else than that, BioWare is in the we're not going to mention the fact that we have multiplayer yet because everyone's going to be pissed.
Granted,
No.
this
Not that I'm
is
against-
about a year away, so we've got
Yeah.
time.
At least a year away.
It's
Uh,
not that I'm
At
against.
least a year away.
It's not that I'm against multiplayer in Mass Effect.
No.
It's that the reason they're doing it is basically, oh crap, that COD game sold a ton of copies. LOL. Maybe we should throw some multiplayer in this. And I'm afraid of what that's going to do because one of my big concerns with 3 was that they were going to add back in some of the RPG elements from that were lost in 2, but still keep all the refinements. And if they add multiplayer, they're not going to do that. They're going to streamline the crap out of the game, just like they did with Resident Evil 5, to make it multiplayer.
Don't bring
Make it suit
that is the
multiplayer.
game that shall not be named on this podcast.
Like,
I don't want to talk about it.
not Uncharted 2 or
No, that too.
like-
Or
Those-
Final Fantasy 13.
Okay, that too. We got three games you're not allowed to talk about.
I heard on a.
No, I would
think
say
it might
Resident
have
Evil
been-
5 was the biggest disappointment.
so in Uncharted 3, there's going to be deserts.
No,
Yeah.
for God's sake, I just don't think Uncharted is worth all all the craziness.
Okay, let's
Whatever,
continue.
man.
This
Anywho,
podcast has
anywho.
gone on
One-
forever.
one-
Real quick, shut up.
Man.
Real quick about Mass Effect 3. Silence! Real quick about Mass Effect 3. I'm a fire in my laser.
6.
Real quick. On Mass Effect 3, the only thing that I'm concerned about is what Steven said. If they shoehorn in multiplayer into this game just to try to sell more copies, is anybody going to be playing this multiplayer a month after it comes out? Does anybody
No.
still play Assassin's Creed Brotherhood multiplayer? Is anybody going to play Dead Space multiplayer? Even the Left 4 Dead community is dead now. The only people that play it are the hardcore gamers. Like, you can't get a regular game of Left 4 Dead 1 or 2 together anymore. I mean, those games are made for multiplayer.
Well, here's something that I think I may have heard this on
Everybody's
We Can Confirm.
playing
It's
COD.
a theory about how this might work, and this is all just hearsay. But what if at a certain point in the game, like the whole plot, like that they've announced is that like the Reapers are invading Earth. What if during like some point in the game, it's like they give you the option like, here you can go, like this multiplayer mode is now unlocked. You can fight on Earth and fight battles, and then or you could just go and continue playing your game.
See, the whole
That
thing,
would be kind of cool.
Yeah,
That-
Like you could having I forget what game I was playing recently. I think actually Dead Rising 2 did something like this where they have like the separate game show multiplayer mode where you can earn money for your character, and it has nothing to do with like the real game. It's just kind of like mini games.
So what you're saying is kind of like a part in Mass Effect 2, like Graham Pulse, where you get to an area like you did in Final Fantasy 13, and it's kind of like go have fun, and that's the multiplayer mode, and all the users are fighting against the Reapers.
or I mean,
Zach, that sounds awesome. That
See,
would
that's
be
what-
excellent.
I think that that's basically what it's going to be. I don't necessarily think they're going to plant it somewhere in the story. I just think they're going to say, "Hey, it's on Earth, and you can be the humans versus the Reapers."
yeah, I
But
think
if it's actually, but if it's a part of the game, like it's a portion of the game where you as a shepherd or something, kind of like how they did with Peace Walker, where like you saw yourself as shepherd, but everybody else was just like a normal person or whatever.
Or they could just have everyone wearing their helmets.
Yeah, that too. I think that could be cool. And then if you decide to leave that area, then you go on to the final confrontation of the game, but you always have a save point in that area to go back to.
yeah, I mean, there's
cool.
it'd be nifty. But I mean,
Yeah, I just don't.
granted, at the
nobody
same
wants to play
time, this is
deathmatch.
all speculation.
Sure. But I don't want to play deathmatch. I want to play something like that because that sounds interesting. Like even playing Final Fantasy VI with 2 players is fun. Multiplayer is always fun with another person. I don't think Mass Effect works competitively. Okay, moving on. Skyrim.
Moving on, Skyrim. There's
the love of God,
there's a
a
CG
new
trailer.
engine.
Yeah,
For
that
the
is
love of
the
God.
nice thing. So Mass Effect 3 has a new engine, and Skyrim has a new engine, but this time it actually needed one.
Yes. Oh my God. But there is still some conjecture about whether it's a brand new engine or just a heavily modified
I'm
engine.
pretty sure it's not Gamebryo.
Yeah,
That is the word. It is not Gamebryo. I don't know what they're gonna do, because it's still, maybe they'll do IdTech 5. That would be pretty rad.
Oh God, Rage! I need a new PC already.
Yep.
Well,
Rage looks cool.
That's entirely possible, considering that with the purchase.
They own them. They own them. They'd be
Yeah.
stupid not to.
But so it's coming out. Skyrim is where the icy Nord people are, right?
Yeah, the big dudes that all look like Vikings fans.
Mm-hmm. Or Vikings.
There are two.
But yeah.
There are two things I want to know about that game. One, when Oblivion screenshots first came out, that game looked amazing, and I hope that happens with this one. And two, they need to make the characters not look ridiculous, because no matter what you do in those games, faces look ridiculous.
I mean, it is mostly having to do with Gamebryo.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, you can't really tell. You can't tell if their artists are just incompetent, which I don't think they are, or if it's just Gamebryo.
Yeah. All right, moving on. What else we got?
Considering that's all the release news, we can talk about Steam and the Signature Edition.
Okay, I'm yelling now.
Okay, so let's before we yell, let's just quickly.
I'm not gonna yell.
You just said you were yelling.
Okay,
so very quickly, recently on the BioWare forums, someone asked what was going on with the Dragon Age 2 Signature Edition on Steam. For those of you who are wondering, or who don't know, for everyone who pre-orders Dragon Age 2 before January 11th. January 11th, will get upgraded to the quote-unquote Signature Edition. And this is basically going to have the soundtrack to the game, some in-game items, which is, kind of like what they offered, and a new character, which is, you can roughly equate it to how you got Shale in the original Dragon Age Origins with like a new copy. And so this is, you can pre-order it in stores and get this, like in retail stores, or you can pre-order it online. And someone asked, well, what about Steam? It's not available for pre-order right now. And Chris Priestley, one of the BioWare reps, has stated that Signature Edition is not going to be available on Steam. Yeah. It is, however, for those who buy digital distribution, it will be available on Direct-to-Drive, Impulse, and Gamersgate.
May I?
Yes, you may.
Okay. Now, in all likelihood, we will probably get a digital deluxe version of Dragon Age 2 on Steam. It will probably come with everything that's in the Signature Edition, possibly even more, and it'll be more expensive. That's usually how this works on Steam. Same thing happened with Mass Effect 2. Same thing happened with Dragon Age. Now, this is something very peculiar that's been going on with gaming for a while now, is this idea of offering special editions for across platforms, but one platform seems to be favored or one platform is heavily screwed over. I consider Steam to be my platform for PC gaming. It's what I choose to use. I love to have games on Steam. It's nice and easy. I can talk to my friends on Steam while I'm playing a game. It's a great community. I love it. I will wait to buy Dragon Age 2 on Steam. I'm sure it's going to be released on Steam. They would be insane not to release it on Steam.
But here's the thing. At this point, we're talking about a buttload of X factors.
Sure.
You can also say, because there are so many games now where even if you purchase a boxed copy of the game, that it activates itself on Steam.
Online. Sure, exactly. But now what I'm saying, John, is that this isn't just this issue that ticks me off. EA is doing something else that's very, very weird to me, even though it's working out in my favor. I don't own a 360. I own a PS3. I bought the digital special whoop-de-doo edition of Dead Space 2, which is like $80, and it comes with a free copy of Dead Space Extraction for the PlayStation 3, high def, the Wii video game with Move controls. That's awesome. You can also spend $80 and buy the same special edition on 360, but you don't get Extraction. That is a giant middle finger to 360 gamers. And I don't understand why EA is doing that.
Well, I mean, one quick clarification. I believe that the Dead Space Extraction, bonus for the PS3 is also for the standard $60 edition.
No, it's not. They just came out this week and they said it's a demo.
Oh, okay.
It's a demo of Extraction. I know. I was really confused with that too.
Okay, so then I'm mistaken there. But either way, it's business.
Right. No, it's business, but it's weird.
It's beyond business. Okay, have you played around with Kinect, Rob?
No, I have.
Not once. Okay, yeah, here's the thing. It would be impossible. Having played Dead Space Extraction, it would be impossible to play that game with
correct.
Kinect.
Yeah.
No, but didn't we also play Lethal Enforcers with a controller? I don't anticipate playing Extraction with a Move controller. I plan on playing it like I used to play Lethal Enforcers on my Sega Genesis.
Does it even?
That game was so cool.
Is it confirmed that you can play it with a controller?
I don't know, but that's why it's awesome that I'm getting it for free. So it doesn't really bother me. If I get it and it doesn't work, that's like, okay.
I have a feeling that game will be move required.
Possibly.
I think so as well.
Could be. But I'm just saying, like, this is weird. This is weird to give special preferential treatment to one version here, and then with Dragon Age, they're giving a giant middle finger, as of right now, a giant middle finger to Steam users.
Well, at the same time, like, you have to kind of look at it from EA's business side, is that Steam has been screwing over so many digital distribution fronts.
How?
Because they are the biggest, the biggest and the best provider.
They give you the most exposure.
Exactly. But at the same time, EA probably wants people to buy stuff from their, online store.
Sure.
Okay.
And so this is just, it's one way to
Okay. Now wait, and then John can make his point, because I want to retort Zach really quick. I 100% agree with you, Zach. And if they said it's only available, the Signature Edition is only available for PC through the EA store or through boxed copy, I would totally understand. But then the fact that they're still offering it on Direct to Drive or Impulse, that shoots that argument to crap.
Not necessarily, because
how doesn't it?
No,
Okay, go for it.
Don't yell at me.
So I apologize. I get intense. I do not mean any disrespect. Go for it, John.
Going onto the business side of things, you have to look at things like profit margin. Steam at this point is a monolithic distribution service.
Okay.
Yes.
That also, you look at iTunes. I look at iTunes and Steam the same way. iTunes is great. You can get pretty much anything you want off of iTunes, but you don't get that same stuff off of, say, Napster. But here's the thing. You probably get, in regards to if you put your content on Napster, you're going to get per individual sale more of your cash dollars.
Okay, and I can see that. There are rumors that it's like 30% of your sales go directly to Valve from Steam sales. That's a rumor. We don't know how true that is. And yeah, I totally see that. But you also get the most market exposure by being on Steam.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
I could understand if you are I've been playing gratuitous space battles. I can understand if you're that guy making an indie game that you want your game on Steam because people will see it when it's on Steam. They're like, oh, gratuitous space battles. What's this? I want to play this. Oh, this is an awesome little strategy game. I like this. Whereas Dragon Age 2, I bet you that it's like 0.0001% of the people that buy Dragon Age will see it for the first time on a Steam menu.
True.
So I think that it might necessarily not pay for a game that's so big and a publisher that's so large and a brand that's so well known to necessarily give the edge to Steam, because if it gives the edge to the other platforms, they get more dollars. And the fact of the matter is, I don't mind EA doing that. Here's the thing. EA was known for so long for sucking cash out of gamers. And you know what? They turn around and they make great games like Mirror's Edge and Dead Space and these games that do new things, and their profits go down. So you know what? It doesn't bother me if EA wants to make more cash like this on PC, because it's such a little thing compared to we could just get a bunch of crap like Activision hands us now.
That's true, but I guess I guess what I'm saying is I feel like I'm losing out. And John, everything that you said makes sense. And I do see it from a business standpoint, but I also see it from a standpoint of you're talking about, you've already said it, Steam is a monolith. Steam is the largest PC community available right now. They have the most in terms of sales. I'm sure if you had MPD numbers for Steam, you would see some serious crap with the amount that they sell, especially during these Steam sales. I mean, my God, we're sitting here, going out buying $5 games that we would have never otherwise played just because, hey, it's $5. I don't even feel bad that I picked up Splinter Cell Conviction and it doesn't even work on my computer because it was $15. That's like a 3D movie. Who cares? Like, it's $15. It's come, it's gone, whatever. I'll deal with it. But now I choose Steam. I expect, because Dragon Age, because Mass Effect, because all of these EA games were released on Steam already, that I'm going to be taken care of as a Steam user picking up Dragon Age 2. And who knows? It could be like Zach was saying on the boards. January 12th, they could be like, here's Dragon Age 2 on Steam. Oh, well, it's not the Signature Edition, but here it is. It still feels like a little, not a full-on kick in the nuts, but it's definitely a little bit of a punch.
No, I hear you.
At the same time,
just a little.
At the same time, like, you can't expect to be catered to by EA on Valve's platform.
But
like,
why not?
Like, because it's EA and they have their own platform. It's
but nobody uses
not
it.
as, I mean, yeah, but at the same time, wouldn't, if you had the Rob Steinman platform of game distribution, wouldn't you prefer that people bought
it would be
games
awesome.
on your platform?
It would be.
No,
the Rob Steinman platform. We don't support no Uncharted here.
We don't support Uncharted. We don't support Final Fantasy 13. It's awesome. No, I totally understand, but I'm just saying that I was sitting there for the past couple months patiently awaiting for Dragon Age to be shown on Steam, and then in just a flippant remark on a message board, you get What's-His-Face saying, well, it's not the Signature.
Hey, it's not What's-His-Face. It's Chris Priestley, who's a very nice guy.
I didn't know his name. Chris, I apologize if you listen to the show. I forgot your name. But it was still like a little – it was a little bit of a middle finger to Steam users, and it's a directed middle finger at Valve. And I understand EA's point on that, but it's also a middle finger to the consumer.
Here's the thing. We're calling it a middle finger, and we're assuming that this is the truth. You know what? Chances are it might be the version that everyone who buys it on Steam gets. We don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't know. Exactly. And that's why I'm not too much in a huff over it. But it was kind of – it did bother me a little bit. Yeah, I was sitting there like, well, I really enjoy my – time on Steam. I really enjoy using it. And if you were a 360 gamer, would you be pissed off that you're not getting a free game for the exact same amount of money on 360? Even if it didn't work, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the whole notion that, well, PS3 users are getting a free game with Dead Space 2 for $80, and we're not for $80.
Well,
so why?
Rob, what about like The Witcher 2? Because that's coming out on Steam, and you can get Steam achievements and Steam Cloud support, or you could get it on GOG, and it has no DRM, and you get a free game. And if you're in Europe, you get like credit towards your from your purchase.
But that's that's more of isn't that more of a system of GOG? Like GOG is the one offering that and
it's the same thing. It's like, it's EA's product. They're offering, the Impulse, or not the Impulse, the Signature Edition on other platforms because Steam gets so much damn money.
I guess I would understand it. I would understand it way more if it was only on EA's store that you could buy the PC version of the Signature Edition or a boxed copy. It would have made way more sense than if it was on but the fact that it's on Direct to Drive and it's also on Impulse, that just strikes me weird.
At this point, all we can say is that there is speculation.
Right. We're sitting here just talking. So, I mean, yeah, I'll let it go. I'm just saying that it was a little bit of a kick in the nuts. I'm not happy about it. I'll deal with it.
Then buy it on Impulse, because I like Stardock.
I don't like Impulse all that
much. I got 2 weeks to figure it out. I'll think about it. Okay. So if that's the last bit of the news, the last thing I want to do is I want to wrap up with predictions. Is everybody okay with that?
Persona 5.
No, wait. I will start. And I'm not taking Persona 5.
Okay.
Persona 5.
No.
Damn it, Steven.
I'll give everybody a chance to make predictions. You can make as many as you want, within reason. I will make one right now. I'm really ticked off. I said it earlier in the show. I'm really ticked off that we didn't record this when we were supposed to, because I was going to predict Deus Ex. There was no way it was coming out in March. That was going to be my prediction. Anywho, my prediction, there ain't no way Skyrim's coming out in November. Mm-hmm. No way.
Yeah.
No effing
Correct.
way. No effing way. Now, let me give my reason, okay? Bethesda did make the release date for Fallout 3, which was amazing, but we saw it at 2 E3s before it came up. We have not even seen a screenshot of Skyrim. We're going to see the first screenshots in Game Informer next month.
But here's the thing.
I don't think so.
No. I you know what? I disagree. I think Bethesda's become a much larger company since then.
That's a good point.
But I think
okay.
No, because here's the thing. You look at I've been to 7 E3s now, and
up it in.
Yes, I remember when there was a point where we'd see stuff at Square's E3 year after year, and then in the past 2 or 3 years, it's been okay. Here's a game, we're showing it at E3, and it's out in 3 months.
That's true. And I think I will be very pleasantly surprised if it comes out, but I really don't see it making that November release date.
You know,
I see it maybe going back a couple months. I see it maybe – I don't think it's going to be like a year delay. But, okay, that's my first prediction. Second prediction, Skyward Sword. This one's easy. Zelda Skyward Sword is a holiday 2011 release. That one's cake. That one's absolute cake. It was supposed to be out in the first quarter of this year, and Miyamoto just came out the other day, and he's like, oh, yeah, we're halfway done. Like, what? Yeah. Okay, so those are my 2 predictions. I think Mass Effect 3 will make its release date. I think it will.
Yeah, I've got 2. I think that Star Wars The Old Republic is not going to blow up as EA and BioWare hopes it will, which is actually unfortunate. That's not something that I want to happen.
You mean blow up in a positive way, as in get big?
Yeah, okay, I think that it's going to have decent sales, and I think that it's going to have a user base that will be able to support the game. I don't think it's going to be a World of Warcraft style. No. Oh my God, we have 12 million subscribers. What I'm projecting is this time next year, Star Wars: The Old Republic will have somewhere between 500,000 and 1 million subscribers.
When's it supposed to come out? Next holiday season?
I think it's middle of this next year. I don't remember.
Really? And now, do you think that this could let's keep going with this? Do you think that could really hurt BioWare? Are we going to see like something on, because they're pumping a lot of money into this? You got to imagine that they literally gave George Lucas another Uncle Scrooge's money bin just for the license. I mean, is this the potential? Maybe not as disastrous.
Here's the thing. I don't see this as being a disastrous thing. I don't think it's going to fail. I just don't think it's going to be it's not going to be a bajillion seller. It will probably be a million seller, but it's not going to be multi-million. It's not going to be like that.
I don't even know if we just started hearing about Titan, which is the next MMO from Blizzard that's supposed to. First off, did you guys see all the leaks that have come out of like Blizzard, the tightest ship in the industry? 2 major leaks. First, the ending to Heart of the Swarm came out, and it was real. Because they sent out They sent out a cease and desist order on everybody on that. That was real. That was the real.
They sent a cease and desist to like what, the universe? Like, don't watch this.
No, to like Games Radar. Games Radar was the only one that admitted it because they posted it and they said, "Yep, it's real. We just got a cease and desist from Blizzard today." So that was real. And then Blizzard, their earnings report came out, and it looks like Diablo 3 is coming out next holiday season. That's when it's slated for. So, Steven, you and I can have our candlelight vigil for when our lives end.
Yes. I got to comment on that.
Okay, comment away, and then we'll talk about Titan.
I really, really want that game to come out next year. And I really, really don't think it's going to.
You don't think it's going to? That's your prediction. We'll come back to John's extra prediction, but real quick, you don't think it's going to make it?
I don't. I think. I'm not sure whether we're going to get Heart of the Swarm. I just think the Heart of the Swarm and the Legacy of the Void are horrendously bad ideas. They're not going to sell as much as Wings of Liberty did because they're the same game with a different campaign.
Now, here's the thing.
And they're not playable with each other. So you have 3 different iterations of the exact same game with different. You're splitting your base 3 ways.
No, you're not. Because I guarantee you that each of those, even though they're standalone campaigns, that you are going to get extra multiplayer units, and it's going to attach to your Battle.net account like a World of Warcraft expansion. And
Yeah, I see that.
No, there's no way that happens. I
agree with John. I don't think Blizzard's that stupid. I know your fear, Steven, but I don't agree with that. But let's get back to your prediction. You don't think Diablo 3 is going to make – I thought Diablo 3 was going to be next summer, and now I'm not so sure because of this earnings report that said we expect Diablo 3 to be holiday 2011.
Oh, so the report specifically said that. I thought it just implied that.
No, it had launch windows for all their games. It said Heart of the Swarm is sometime early 2012. Diablo 3 is end of the year 2011. Now, take that for what it is, but I'm saying that based on the fact that we had 2 big Blizzard leaks, I'm saying that's real. So I thought Diablo 3 was going to be summer. I really did. But okay. And then Titan, this gets back to John, because John, I didn't really mean to sidetrack so much. I don't even think that Blizzard's next MMO can beat World of Warcraft.
I agree completely. That's exactly what I think.
Unless it's Universe of StarCraft, but they've already said that it's not.
Here's
I don't think they can beat it.
You know what? And nobody thought that you could beat EverQuest either.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point.
We'll see. You know what? Titan's not going to be out until, 2014?
Yeah, right around the time that Guillermo del Toro gives us Insane.
Yeah. So, with that stuff, yeah, all that stuff got leaked, whatever. That's still too far ahead kind of for me to be speculating on.
Okay. All right, so what was your other prediction? And then we'll get to Steven.
Prediction is that we will see Borderlands 2 sometime next year.
Can I make Can I plead real quick with Randy Pitchford? Can you please make the game a little bit more interesting in terms of skill use? Because that game got really boring really quickly.
I think that's really all they have to do to make it. I liked Borderlands a lot, but I do think towards the end the skills.
Yes, he dropped. I get to cut him off. Ha ha. As Steven was trying to say.
As I was saying. I think the game itself was a blast, but the skills became completely useless at the end. I think in every character I had,
I disagree.
The only character with a useful skill was the girl.
No. Oh, then you built your character wrong. I played a soldier, and my turret was the most useful thing in the world, specifically because I set it up to heal me.
Okay, all right, yeah. I take that back. I did set up my soldier because I got bored with the
cut off again.
He dropped again.
No, I just didn't like the fact that I just felt like I was holding down a cursor over an enemy and hitting it to death. And yeah, that's what Diablo is, but at the same time I'm doing it with skills in Diablo. In this game I was just doing it by pulling a trigger over.
Right, no, that's fair. That's
over.
fair. I used a bunch of different weapon styles over the course of the game, but I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And I think if they add more variety, it's going to sell more than the original did.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Imagine, do you guys remember, there was an old PC game called Undying. It was a Clive Barker game.
Oh, yeah.
One hand you had a gun, one hand you had magic. Borderlands 2, give me one hand with a gun, the other hand with some sort. Give me 5 cool abilities that I can.
Cut off again.
Man.
And wait, didn't they make that game and it was called BioShock 2?
Yeah.
And I thought it worked great in BioShock 2. I think BioShock 2 is a better playing game than BioShock 1, but BioShock 1's more interesting.
Yeah, I hear you.
But 2 plays better, and I agree with Steven. That would make Borderlands awesome. I just got tired of shooting stuff in Borderlands. That should have been the game for me, and I was really just I'm just watching people's health deplete.
Yeah, they could do some seriously cool stuff with the classes. They could really differentiate the classes. You could have one character with my right hand pulls up a shield and it blocks bullets, and I can stand in front of my team and run forward and etc.
Last comment, and then I'm done. And I forgot what my last comment was going to be.
Okay, well, Steven, do you have another prediction?
My prediction.
I remember.
Oh, God, John.
Borderlands had the most anticlimactic last boss ever.
It did.
I didn't even get that far.
It was ridiculous.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, now I know I don't have to finish it.
It was derp, you win.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, Steven, what's your prediction?
Well, I have no basis for this, but I'm going to say Kingdom Hearts 3DS does not come out next year.
I think that's safe. In America or in Japan?
In Japan. I think it comes out the early 2012. And then I think sometime late next year, or maybe right around the time they release 3DS, they say, oh, BTW, we're making Kingdom Hearts 3, and it's for PS3, and then a few months later they go also for Xbox.
No, I think it's going to be Wii.
I don't think it'll be Wii.
No, I agree with Steven.
Why?
The Wii has been losing a whole boatload of steam in regards to being a software pushing platform.
That's true. But I don't see. If anything, I would expect them to. Well, okay, you could take this either way. You could make it work with your argument, or you could make it work with my argument. I'm not sure which. Epic Mickey came out, and everybody's pretty much agreed that it's failed critically and sales-wise.
I bought that today. I am super excited about that game. I bought it today.
I really wished it was good. It just apparently it's got a lot of technical issues.
It's got camera issues. That's really it.
Yeah,
I've heard the game itself is. We're getting off topic, so I'm sorry. Continue.
But the failure of that could work with John's argument that it shows that the Wii doesn't sell your game unless it's a Nintendo first-party title, and we'll have to see how Donkey Kong Country does. Or it could be that maybe people don't really give a crap about Disney right now, and maybe this isn't a good time to release another Kingdom Hearts.
I don't think that it has anything to do with people not giving a crap about Disney. Did you see how much Toy Story 3 made?
No, but I mean in a game sense. I don't mean Disney as in Disney the property. I mean in gaming.
I don't think so, because Kingdom Hearts is far, at this point, it's far beyond just the Disney. I mean, at this point, people are into Kingdom Hearts for the ridiculous story.
Yeah, the absolute.
It just happens to include Disney characters who, and I love the series, and I hate to say it, the Disney is becoming more and more marginalized as the series goes on. The Disney parts absolutely have no relevance on the story whatsoever.
Yeah, and that's
the only story. The only story segments in Kingdom Hearts are the random boss fights with original characters that occasionally pop up in Disney worlds, and the first, middle, and last worlds.
Yep, I agree, and that's when I liked Kingdom Hearts when it was you, Donald, and Goofy saving the world from Maleficent, and then it turned into me fighting my heartless self, and that got my nobody self, and that got really like
you just got to fight. It's like there's basically two final bosses in Recoded, and one of them is literally just apps. I mean, don't get me started on Recoded, but one of them is ridiculous. I mean, it's literally you have to fight your Data. Why? Because it's Data.
All right. Well, those are good predictions. Zach's been really quiet. So
Persona 5 is announced.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Because, I mean,
no,
the Persona team has been hiring. Catherine will come out, February in Japan. And, I mean, that's not an RPG, or else I would I really want that to come out in the U.S.
You don't think it'll be Shin Megami Tensei 4?
Ooh,
and not Persona 5?
That's it.
I would see Shin Megami Tensei 4 before Persona 5. Because
Persona's had such steam though in the past, it picked up so much steam in the past.
Sure, but this is one of the translators for Atlas. I forget the gentleman's name. He did a Retronauts podcast a while back, and he said that normally what Atlas does is they release 3 games in a series and then they take a break. And somebody asked him, and this is a guy who's pretty close to Atlas, and somebody asked him, do you think they make 2 games in a series and then they take a break. And somebody asked him, do you think we're going to see a Persona 5? And he said, no, I think they're going to take a break. They'll probably do a Shin Megami Tensei 4, and then they'll come back with Persona 5 like 5 years down the road. They don't want to sully the franchise. They're going to take a break, which is what we should be doing with Kingdom Hearts.
I will agree. I love Kingdom Hearts, but I don't feel like we needed Coded.
I don't think we needed 2.
I think we needed Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 and Birth by Sleep.
I don't know if we needed 3, 5, 8 divided by 2 over 5 square root of 13.
Hey, at least we got Birth by Sleep out of those 3 games.
That's true. And the secret movies always – I just want a game that plays like the secret movies where I'm in that armor and I'm just like having a Dragon Ball Z fight.
I'm telling you, dude, Birth by Sleep is that game.
Yeah, but am I just pressing X in order to do all of it?
Actually, really, no. Birth by Sleep with the commands, I mean, you really do get like a lot more control over the ridiculous crap you can do.
Oh, okay. Well, too bad the PSP sucks, or else I go out and pick one up. All right.
And then
you have that HDTV. Get cables.
Yeah. All right, Zach. What's your other prediction?
Second prediction: Dragon Age 2 not coming out in March.
Part of me agrees with you on that.
Here's the thing.
It's unlikely. I have a feeling I'm going to be wrong on this one, but this is my prediction.
Yeah, I think you're wrong. The fact that Damien was up, we had, as you saw, a preview on the website.
Yeah.
Chances are, if you're listening to this podcast, you read our website. We had our Dragon Age 2 hands-on preview. Yeah, RPGFan.com.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for that preview, I would agree with Zach, because what we were talking in the pre-show warm-up, they released BioWare's been very quietly updating the Dragon Age 2 website with like a piece of information every other week, and they released a combat video to show everybody, hey, everybody settle down. It still controls like Dragon Age on PC.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
So it's actually like Dragon Age 1. Like, it's not like just a hack and slash.
Right, but Steven, would you agree with me? That game looks rough. It looks
that's kind of what I'm basing my prediction on. Granted,
The thing is, Mass Effect 1 looked rough when it came out.
That's true, but that game, like, I'm sitting there watching that and I'm going, I really hope this is like pre-alpha from 8 months ago, because this looks horrible. Like, and again, it's so weird with Dragon Age, because they'll show you one thing that looks awesome, like that Rise to Power trailer that looked insane, and then
BioWare's good at trailers.
Yeah, the thing is, I argue that they are rushing that to market. That's exactly what I think they're doing.
So you know what? Yeah, that's I'd agree. So my prediction that they will delay it is based on that notion that they are rushing it to market.
Well, I mean, but they have been working on, in BioWare's defense, they have been working on it since the PC version of Dragon Age was complete, and that was back at the beginning of 2009.
Yeah, March 2009.
They were finished Dragon Age. The only reason it didn't come out was because they wanted to make the PC and 360 version, and that was stupid. Because those two games.
PS3?
What?
You said PC and 360.
I'm sorry, 360 and PS3. They worked on those two versions of the game, and I just don't think that was necessary. Like, they should have just released it.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I mean, I guess, but yeah. So we'll see.
We're this close. I'd imagine they're going to get it out, but it wouldn't shock me if they said it's actually coming out in June.
Yeah, I mean, like the delay wouldn't be long.
No,
but it would be. I imagine, and maybe they won't. As I said, I'm less confident in that than I am in like I want to say Persona, but perhaps just an SMT game announcement.
Yeah,
I would be perfectly happy with that.
I don't have the balls to say that they'll delay Dragon Age 2, but then again, didn't they delay Arkham Asylum? Like, it was 6 weeks before release, and they delayed it 3 months.
So.
Not to mention that our Alpha Protocol missed 6 release dates, but Alpha Protocol was supposed to come out, I think, in August last year, and the release date came, and it just wasn't,
no game.
wasn't in stores. So I mean, it's we'll see what happens. I have faith in BioWare. I'm hoping that the artistic style is, just an artistic style and not just that the game looks rough.
So I want to have one last crazy prediction before we end.
Do it.
Final Fantasy XIV will shut down by the end of next year.
I would agree with that.
Really?
I'd agree with that. I think Square... You know what? I'm going to go one better. I think Square Enix files for bankruptcy next year.
No, there's no way.
I think they will.
Okay,
Dude,
after selling 5.5 million copies of Batman 2? No.
They
good
make
point.
way
good
too
point.
much money.
Good point. I think the Japanese division is in deep, deep S right now.
No,
I think you're right. Arkham City's going to keep them alive. That's a good point.
Here's the thing. Square Enix is not the company that it was 5 years ago.
Yeah, they suck.
They have more than RPG franchises to keep them afloat. I have no doubt that Square Enix is going to continue to exist. However, I have no doubts that maybe not this next year. That's the prediction to see if I'm right next year. But Final Fantasy XIV will live about as long as Auto Assault.
I agree. Do you think we're going to get the PS3 version? Because I don't think we will.
I do think we will.
I think we will. I think they'll release that.
But then again, I have to disagree. I don't think it'll shut down.
I agree with... Okay, here's what I'll say. I agree with John. It's going to shut down by the end of the year, and I don't think we're going to get a PS3 version. It's delayed indefinitely. We don't know when it's coming out. So I don't think we'll get the PS3 version next year. We have one of two things. Either the whole thing shuts down, no PS3 version next year, or the thing lives on and we get the PS3 version beginning of 2012.
Interesting. Do you know what I think will be a good meter against whether or not we'll see a PS3 version?
A barometer?
A barometer?
No. I was going to go. How well
seismograph?
Yes, a seismograph. How well DC Universe does for PS3.
It's going to do horrible.
Actually,
Well, yeah.
I think I'm not under NDA for this since I got the beta not via press.
Can you play as Batman?
No.
Isn't
Well,
it?
then why would I
I thought the arenas were you have to.
Oh, maybe there are. I've only played like an hour or two of it.
And it's Streets of Rage.
Yeah, but here's the thing. That works for a console.
Cool.
That works for a console-styled MMO.
Yeah.
But you know what? Here's the thing.
It's also going to get really old.
I'll play some more DC Universe, and I think it's out by the time we record next. And maybe I'll talk about it next time.
Okay. So we got lots and lots of predictions. We're going to have to write them all down so we can make fun of them. Hopefully the show will still be going a year later. But I just want to say to you guys, thanks so much for taking time out of your holiday schedule to come and do the show. To the listeners, thank you so much for listening to us. We hope that you guys enjoy this extra long version of the podcast. We'll definitely be back sometime early in January. I think we're going to have a show that's dedicated to soundtracks.
Yes.
Oh, good. So we have somebody who's excited to do that show. I thought it was only...
Yeah, other editors who have been on the show before, like Dennis and Patrick, who are much more involved with the soundtrack section of our website, will be helping out with that podcast.
Yeah, I may just be there
that's
to
my
moderate.
game.
That's your game?
That's my game. I want to talk about soundtracks.
Thank you to the listeners. Hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. We will see you as we go into the new year. Make sure you guys are downloading us on iTunes, subscribing through iTunes, subscribing through the RSS feed. Keep on giving us feedback. We are taking notes of the things that you guys are suggesting. We're going to need stuff to talk about until Dragon Age 2 is delayed.
And until we get more news on Uncharted 3.
Indeed.
I can't resist.
Yes, I can't wait to play a game where I die over and over again if I don't do exactly what the developer asks me to do.
Well, you better do what they tell you to do.
I know, man. I'm trying.
Dude, that's how Apple makes all their money. Go out and buy our new product. It's not as good as your old one.
Yes, sir. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Steve.
All right. We're getting way too goofy. Thanks again. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. And see you all at some point.